Greetings to all. My name is Manoj Sharma, and I'm a shrimp farmer. Uh, Everybody knows that what's happening in the world over, and the shrimp farming situation is in doldrums. We are sailing through rough waters, especially India and Ecuador are in a very high production mode, and farmers these days are not making money because of the rise in cost of production and the post-COVID issues, whether the sea freight increase or the countervailing duties or anti-dumping duties. So many things are happening in national, international area. So everything in India right now, we are in confusion that what is going to happen next. So most of the people are thinking India is not performing well because of the overproduction in Ecuador and Latin America. And there are a lot of confusion and comparison between these two countries. And who can clarify that? Who can give the more clarity? So let's listen from the horse's mouth directly. And we have our good friend Yahira Piedrahita. She is a director technical CN Ecuador. And Yahira, welcome to India.
Thank you very much.
And we always love to have you in India. You have been visiting India for many days. And Yahira, I'm a farmer basically, and you know that as a farmer, I'm also very jittery. And what's going to happen next in the farming? There are a lot of informations in the market which is not true and authentic, like the effect of Ecuador on the world shrimp farming, especially in India. Everywhere there's a blame game. Sometimes the rate are less, so people say that Ecuador is production very high. Now, in Indian scenario, a lot of confusion is there. What is going to happen next? And especially, I have requested you to give us little clarity that most of the people who will see this interview, a short interview, that we will try to especially clear the confusion among the farmers. So, Yaira, first thing I would like to ask you, what is the present Ecuador production, shrimp production, and what you see in the next 2-3 years, what will be the position of Ecuador in the shrimp production?
Okay, thank you for this. It's a conversation more than an interview. I'm not the formal spokesperson in the industry, so this will be my personal opinions, more than some comments and ideas, not a formal position as CNA, because I'm not working as CNA right now. I'm on vacation. Yes, Ecuador is been struggling also. Ecuadorian farmers have mostly the same concerns that Indian farmers, so the problem is common. But Ecuador is working hard. We are trying to keep the best quality in the product. We are trying to work on sustainability things. We are trying to increase the market share also, because the main problem is not the production in Ecuador. The main problem is the market. So the idea is to promote shrimp better and try to increase the consumers around the world.
No, I know what you're saying. Even India production is not a problem. Only market problem is to market. But there is always information that Ecuador is producing 1.2 million ton, and the present crisis of Ecuador, what is happening, the social and political scene there, it has given a clear message that Ecuador might not do well this year or the coming year. So I want your take on the production, whether Ecuador will remain the same or produce more, or it will reduce the production.
If you see the statistics, the year-to-year increase of Ecuador, it was around 15 to 26%. In 2022, the production growth grew 26% of the previous year.
Yes.
But in 2023, the increase was only 14%. We are still growing, but we are reducing the growing rate.
Okay.
So maybe this year will be 10%,
But still in plus.
Or maybe 5%, but at least 1.2 million.
Thank you for that clarity, Yahira, because it will be a very clear-cut message for the industry that Ecuador is not going to go down. Only the growth rate can be a little bit slow. Rather than growing 20 to 26%, it might grow 5 to 10%.
Yes.
So definitely you'll produce more than 1.2 million.
Or at least
1.2 million.
1.2. Because the farmers have invested in
Yes.
technology, automatic feeding, mechanical aeration. They need to pay the bills of this investment.
Yes.
So we cannot reduce the volume in the ponds.
Yes, I understand that. So, Yahira, now India is also producing close to 10 lakh ton, 1 million ton. But India is also battling with the diseases, the old diseases, the new diseases. And we have a big challenge as a farmer that, first of all, we are not certain about our own production. So whether I'm also not sure whether I'm going to stock all my ponds. So how many ponds will survive, because we have a lot of disease issues, and our failure rate is 40 to 45%. So what is in Ecuador? Ecuador, the farming success in Ecuador, and what you think that the present production problems in Ecuador?
Well, one of the main differences between Asian system in general and Ecuadorian or Latin American system is that in Ecuador we don't use SPF animals, and we work in open systems. So we take the water from the creeks and rivers to put into the ponds without any specific treatment more than filtration and some other kind of predator excluding. And our animals are from the broodstock locally sourced.
Local broodstock.
So we don't work with excluding pathogens.
Okay.
We work with pathogens.
All pathogen exposed.
Inside the ponds, in the environment. And even the animals could be positive for virus. They are not sick.
Okay.
So the condition of the health in the animal is good, and survival rates are maybe 50, 60%, depending on the management.
Okay.
And we don't talk about failure crops or failure rate, because even if you have problems in the pond, you can have a small outbreak with Vibrios or some other problems with oxygen or carrying capacity, which is the problem sometimes. We at least have 30-40% of survival in
the shrimp survival.
Yes.
But as such, your farming success is 90-95%.
Yes, because we
there is no failure because of
we
disease.
never interrupt the cycle because the animals are gone.
Okay. Yeah.
We wait for the harvest time in all the cases.
Yahira, whatever I'm asking, this is actually a confusion which is into the general perception of the farmers towards India and Ecuador success. But I've been to Ecuador many times, and quite often you also visited India. What is the basic and fundamental difference do you see in the number of farmers, the size of the farm, or the size of the pond, the stocking density, and the most important is the size and counts of shrimps what Ecuador produce?
Well, the main difference is the size of the country and the population in the country. India is a huge country and 1.5 billion people. We are 17 million people in Ecuador, and the size of the country is very small. So the differences are in the industry is the production model, which is all pathogen exposed based, the size of the ponds. Ecuadorian ponds are big, on average 15 hectares each pond.
Oh.
If you talk about small and medium farmers, you are talking about 50 hectares.
On an average.
20 hectares, yes.
On an average.
The size of the farm. So it's very different, because here I've seen that farms are smaller. The predator controls is different. We are more focused on control water quality, oxygen, and some other physicochemical aspects.
But after technification, has farmer increased the stocking density there?
It's about 20 to 25 animals per square meter.
You're almost close to India. That India is on an average is also practicing 25, 30.
But you have to know that not all farms are technified.
Okay, only 30 to 40%.
Yes, 30% or maybe 20% are almost fully technified. The rest of the farmers are still working in a mostly traditional model. And that's why I told you that Ecuador is gonna keep the volume, because if the rest of the farmers start to technify the farms, the production will be double.
My God, it was still further.
We don't grow more because of the prices and the cost of production, but the capacity to increase the volume in general is not because these farms are increasing densities. It's because the rest of the farms are still working in a very lower level.
Okay. Besides Yahira, Ecuador is doing so phenomenally well that producing 1.2 million. But last Aqua Expo, when I visited there, I could meet friends from your neighboring countries like Peru, Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua. So they are also producing close to 0.5 million, almost like 4-5 lakh tons. So what is how they are also responding to shrimp farming?
What I've seen is the rest of the countries in Latin America are also increasing the total volume. I don't know about the specific information in terms of densities or production per pond, but if you see the statistics in the general trends, Venezuela is growing fast, very fast. I think it's faster than Ecuador. The thing is, they are a smaller industry, but the growth is bigger than Ecuador. Brazil is increasing the production, but Brazil is mostly consuming their own product. Guatemala and Honduras are also raising shrimp, and Mexico is also trying to grow in terms of production.
So after listening to you, it is very clear the Ecuador plus Central America and Latin America will continue producing 1.6 to 1.8 million ton.
The potential is there.
Potential is there, and they will continue producing.
So potentially, we could double the production. We won't do that, of course, because it will kill ourselves also.
Yes.
But I don't see Ecuador decreasing too much the production. It's going to be stabilized.
Yahira, one very important question I want to ask you, because India is also producing 1 million and Ecuador 1.2 million. So together this country is producing 70-80% of the world's traded shrimp. So what particular approach, as you said, you are doing very high promotional activities of showing your shrimp and one of the best quality. So what is your message to those who are watching this interview, to our Indian friends and counterpart, that what is your suggestion about what we should have that approach?
You should work more in the internal issues to solve the problems in the industry. For instance, Ecuador is working in many different aspects. In 2017, Ecuador launched this Sustainable Partnership Initiative with the objective of this is raise the bar in the quality and the environmental responsibility of the industry, and also in the transparency with the consumer. Because the more important pillars of this initiative is the full traceability from the hatchery to the final distributor, is the neutral impact of water, which means we are taking care of the environment.
Yes.
And also is the non-use of antibiotics.
Okay.
Zero antibiotics in the complete cycle. So this is very important for us. The conditions of the culture and the quality of the product. Ecuador is working in reduce the amount of antibiotics used in the production systems. Even the volume is increasing every year. The amount of antibiotic imported, because we don't produce antibiotics locally,
Yes.
is being reduced. That means if you have more volume but less antibiotics, the rate of antibiotic or the amount per kilo or per ton of product is very, very low. That's why Ecuador doesn't have rejections for residues. So we are working on that. We are working on environmental responsibility. We are working on traceability with the blockchain inclusive, but all farms have to comply with the national control plan, which is mandatory, and the standard is very high for us.
So you are indirectly saying that we should work on our strength now. We should work on food safety, traceability, environment, and also look for newer markets to have a marketing edge.
I'm not sure if newer markets, because inside India you have a huge market. So if
You mean to say domestic market?
of course, what you are doing with Jingalala, which is promoting the shrimp consumption, must be replied in all India, because you are 1.5 billion people, and if every people can consume, I don't know, 4 or 6 times a year shrimp,
Yeah.
not every month or every
Yeah, we
week.
are huge people, even we consume 100 gram per capita,
Yes.
we can consume 1 million tons
Of course,
in the market.
of course. So it's like Brazil. Brazil is consuming all their production.
Yes, almost like 100,000 tons they consume in their own country.
Yes.
So you have visited Jingalala since I started.
Yes, of course.
And now every year whenever you come, you love to visit Jingalala. And what is your honest opinion? Do you think that I'm getting success in promotion of seafood, or at least I'm making some wave in the industry?
I think as an initiative for promoting the product is excellent, but you are the only one doing this. So you should be doing this in terms of every state, or the central government should have a program to promote the consumption, or I don't know, through the associations. Maybe you should work with the education system to educate the people that shrimp is nutritious and is a good product, and it's an Indian product with good quality. I think the promotion is very important.
Yes, even I feel that.
I think Ecuador and India shouldn't see each other as competitions or competitors. They should join efforts to try to promote the consumption. No fight because of prices, but join the efforts to promote the consumption.
To the world.
Yes.
To the world.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Yahira. And my dear friend, this interview might will help to clarify a lot of doubts in your mind. But she is clearly saying that Ecuador is going to stay in the game. So is also the other.
It's my opinion.
Yeah, it's her opinion, because Ecuador is not going to go down, and because, as she said, they are working with all exposed pathogens, and the brood stocks are strong and sturdy. So farm failures are very less. So they are going to continue produce, and so is the other Latin American countries.
Yes, we need
so
to solve
she is also in the outcome of the interview is very clear that India and Ecuador are very unique and very different in their farming approach and style of production. But one very common thing, that both are producing shrimps more than 1 million tons. So both of these countries should learn from each other's strength and overcome their weakness. And we should really focus on the market. And it's a very clear message that India is 10 times bigger than Ecuador in comes to the population. And even I agree with her that India has 1.5 billion, 76%, 77% people eat non-vegetarian. Even 100 gram, 200 gram per capita increase can be a huge volume. I do agree. I do agree that it's not a easy job to overnight to turn the game of domestic market. But if each and every farmer comes together with the same motto, what I am trying to do, and try to promote his product into domestic
Eating
market,
shrimp in their families.
yeah, keep
Explain the
eating,
families to
keep eating it. I think in another 5 6 years, or maybe down 10 the years, maybe our next generations will have that comfort of having the domestic market. Thank you once again, Yahira, for
thank you.
giving this clarity, and this will really help farmers like me and my fellow industry. Thank you, all the best for this coming season.
It's shrimp.